Number 4, pick the right integration pattern. So lots of companies, partner systems have a bunch of different ways to interact with their APIs. So probably a REST API, could have a SOAP API. Maybe they have some sort of SFTP flat file thing. Lots of folks now have webhooks and other kinds of event-based triggers. But that does not mean that you have to use all of those things. So to speak to our previous point, it's really important that you know what your data requirements are. If you do need historic data, building an integration that's webhooks only is probably not going to work for you. If you really need kind of this discrete response very, very quickly to single transactions, maybe doing a pass-through request where you're going directly to the API is sufficient to the partner system, but that's not going to work if you need to be doing heavy-duty filtering because the latency is going to be too high. If you need this data to be very resilient when it's syncing, webhooks probably not the best pattern because they can be a little flaky and the retry logic does exist in some places, but a lot of the times it doesn't. So thinking about things like data volume, reliability, API coverage, as I mentioned before, like do you actually have webhooks for every type of event or do you have to refer back to like a cron-based or manual sync, data freshness requirements, and then also your own internal infrastructure all come into play when you're thinking about how you want to design integrations. One thing that we do like to mention about webhooks, especially if you're building this in-house and not using a tool like Pandium, is thinking about storing webhooks, debouncing, things like that. Those are the types of things that maybe don't come up in your initial testing, but when you get out into the real world and your partner system was down for 5 minutes and now they're replaying all the webhooks that they should have sent you, those types of things like caching and having a message queue, et cetera, can actually be really, really important. And that's also why we think about doing a combination of these patterns oftentimes when you're thinking about real-time data access, event-driven integrations, as well as doing cleanups or doing initial syncs that have that historic data.